Hey folks, it's Finn. So in this week's upload, I want to revisit a topic I spoke about a few weeks back about my sexuality. I did a vlog called I Am Attracted to Lesbians, which you can find here. And you gave me some amazing feedback and food for thought in the comments, so thank you for that. Basically, as a newly single man, I find myself very confused as to where my sexuality lies. Run through this quite quickly because I mentioned it in the other vlog. I started out going out with men, knew that wasn't really quite right, came out as a lesbian, definitely fancied women, but still wasn't right, realised I'm trans, now it all makes sense, I'm a straight man, right? Then, spanner in the works, my ex-partner comes out as trans as well, so I find myself in a relationship with a man. And then we split up, and bingo, here I am. So of course, being the waffler I am and the thinker I am, of course I want to just let it go and evolve, but I also like to really kind of like reflect and think about this stuff and share it with you. A lot of people commented on that vlog that I was thinking in very kind of stereotypical ways, and I get what you're saying, but I was trying to explain that in the video, that for ease of explaining things, I was speaking in very absolute terms. I do realise that masculinity doesn't just belong to men and vice versa. I do realise that. It's just so complicated to try and speak about this because I have found myself noticing that I am looking at women who I find really attractive and realising they're lesbians, and looking at men that I find are really attractive and finding out they're straight. And I talked about how, you know, I'm attracted to lesbians because they're often very tomboyish and very masculine way of being, and I like straight men because they are equally masculine. You know, it's all very confusing. I'm not really attracted to very feminine qualities, you know, so it did sound like I was speaking in very absolute and very narrow terms, but my word, it's the only way to explain really what's going on in my head. So what is going on in my head? Well, I have realised in reflection really that my issue isn't really so much with what is my sexuality label. Am I attracted to men? Am I attracted to women? Am I generally just attracted? That really isn't the issue. I think what the confusion is that I just don't know who I'm attracted to. It's not about the gender, it's about the type of qualities in a person. Because all of my relationships, I've been drunk. I have, you know, it's shameful to admit, but I've never dated sober. I've never dated as a man. And my word, I have changed so much in this last 6 years. So when I first started going out with my partner, I was a very different person, looking for very different things in a relationship and attracted to very different things. So this is less about me working out my sexuality, but working out the type of person I'm attracted to, which is why it's so fundamental for me to be single right now, because that space that my wonderful friend Shell spoke about is so much what I need in order to further develop my identity and really get to know myself. I needed to create that space in which I could really find myself and what I'm into, in order to then know who I'm interested in to let into my life in an intimate way. If you think about all this, I am really just a pubescent boy. Young males do this as they're in puberty, as things are starting to connect and work. They start to kind of look around at who they're attracted to and what attracts them. And I'm brand new at this. I've never done it sober, I've never done it as a man. I only have experience of dating lesbians and dating men. So of course I'm going to try and draw on the knowledge I have when it comes to trying to work out my romantic intentions. They're the only people I've had experience with. So this is probably why I'm not looking at straight women and gay men. Not because I'm attracted to one or the other or neither or both or whatever, but more because I know how to read signals from straight men. I know how to read signals from lesbian women, but I don't know how to read signals from straight women and gay men. I haven't got a clue when someone fancies me. All of this stuff that we learn growing up and that most people learn sober, I've not done. So this is what I'm realising. I'm realising two things really. That one, I'm open to being in a relationship with anyone. There was some lovely comments from people about how they are identified in a certain way, but at the same time are very open to just falling in love. And that's exactly how I feel. I can't honestly say that I wouldn't be with a man now, because as I said before, being with a man as a woman didn't suit me, but being with a man as a man may well. And in fact, just recently, there's been a couple of men that I've looked at and are starting to have feelings for. Nothing at the moment is happening for me from the neck down. It's all thinking. Now, a few people made some comments about they wonder whether my attraction to lesbians and straight men is a bit of subconscious protection, in that I'm not ready right now, so I'm looking at unattainable people. And I think you've probably got a valid point. I think you really have. So yeah, I'm not ready at all for it. And so even when I am kind of looking around at people and I can say, oh, that's a really good looking man, that's a really good looking woman, but I feel it in this space and there's no kind of like business behind it. The closest I got to a thwart moment was recently. There's a guy that I've met recently that really intrigues me and I feel quite attracted to, but in a very different way than I've ever felt. I continually think about him and I want to kiss him. But there's no attraction from there down. There's nothing standing to attention. No comments, please. I don't know. So, I mean, I'm quite relieved to know that I've got feelings, but as my friend described it, this seems more like a sensual feeling rather than a sexual attraction. So I don't know. I didn't get to my number 2, did I? So, yes, as I was saying, my conclusion on all this and working my sexuality is I have no idea who I'm attracted to, but I don't care. I'm open to just connecting with anyone. So that's the first thing I've realised. The second thing I realised is my confusion is nothing to do with which gender am I attracted to. My confusion is, who the dickens do I like? Because I've not got a clue. My morals and values are completely different than they were when I entered a relationship with my ex 6 years ago. And actually, if that sort of person approached me now, I would run a mile, because we were very, very broken people. Now I want to be in a relationship with someone that's whole and that is self-reliant and all of these things, so I know what qualities I'm kind of looking for in a person, and they're very different. So there's a 3 here as well. The number 3 in what the issue is here is I've got no experience in dating gay men. I've got no experience in dating anyone. So the only experience I've got with dating people, the things I've learned over time, I've learned how to relate to lesbians and I've learned how to relate to straight men. But now as a man, I have got, that doesn't apply to me. There's no point me trying to relate to lesbians because most lesbians are not going to want me and most straight men are not going to want me either. I know there are exceptions to the rule, but So it's unlearning some stuff I've learned about relationships and attraction and dating. As I say, I'm waffling on a bit and I'm repeating myself, but I've never dated sober, so I have no idea. I've never dated as a man, so I've got no idea. I've never dated a gay man or a straight woman, so I've got no idea. So, as I say, the conclusion I've currently come to, with your wonderful help and your amazing comments on that video, is that it isn't about working out my sexuality. It's about first stopping and just having a relationship with me. Not like that. And then in getting to know myself and really deepening my relationship with myself, my own morals and values and what have you, continuing to do all these new hobbies that I'm picking up, I will then find someone that I'm attracted to through that, because in knowing who I am and what I want, I'll know what I want in another person, and I really am not bothered how they identify their gender. Labels are lovely for forks. Labels are not for people. So it's not about masculine, femininity, gay, straight, pans, blah, blah, blah. Thank you all so much for your amazing comments regarding that and pointing out that I was being a bit narrow-minded. I'm sorry that it came across that way. And also thank you for pointing out all the different labels I could use, but really, as I say, I realise it's not about that. It's not about masculinity and who it's in, and femininity and who it's in, and the gender. It's just about people and certain kinds of people that because of who I am, I will be attracted to eventually when I finish having a relationship with myself and with Lemmy. Waffle and a half. Thank you for watching, everybody. Please do leave your comments in the section below if you relate to any of this, got anything to add, because you always make me do the thinky thing, which I love, because the thinky thing then makes me do a vlog where I do, or the waffly thing, and you seem to like that, and then you comment again, and it all goes on and on and on in a never-ending circle. It's wonderful. Right, I'm being a bit weird. I'm going to go now, and I will see you this Sunday, as it's the Sunday shout-out, which I'm currently not quite sure what it's about. It's one of 3 things, but we'll see. See you Sunday.